Hello and welcome back to Bookish and welcome back to my Saturday Hodgepodge, my weekly wrap-up of my thoughts, book reading, booktube stuff, just generally speaking, whatever I want to talk about. I just got in from my walk, try to take a walk every day now that I'm retired and, not as active as I once was when I was standing up teaching all day. And on my walk, I saw a flag hanging on one of my neighbor's houses, which was similar to this flag, which had an outline of an AR-15 on it, and with the words "Come and take it." And that flag made me think of several things related to the ridiculousness of gun ownership here in the United States of America. I mean, getting beyond the fact that there's nothing in the Second Amendment that guarantees your right to own any gun you choose or any amount of guns you choose. So there's that, and certainly, as gun advocates and the NRA likes to contend, there's certainly nothing in the Constitution that suggests that the Founding Fathers intended for armed citizens to act as a check on the power of the United States government. This is just stupid from the beginning, because obviously they wouldn't have built in such a huge system of checks and balances, and at the same time tried to take as much democratic power away from the average citizen as they could in the original structure of the Constitution if they'd intended for citizens to be able to just freely decide on their own, when they wanted to follow the laws of the United States of America and when they didn't. It also ignores the fact that history tells us this isn't true. George Washington, kind of an important figure when the Constitution was drafted, first president of the United States, he certainly didn't think that armed citizens had the right to, flout the laws of the United States of America, as he proved by personally leading the United States military into the western areas of Virginia during the Whiskey Rebellion to stop a rebellion against tax collection, of all things. And, there's that whole Civil War thing which indicates that citizens just can't, arm themselves and decide to, leave the Union to protect slavery. But the flag itself was one of those things that caught my attention today for a couple reasons. If you don't know, the Come and Take It flag is actually a symbol from, the history of the Texas independence movement, or the Texas Rebellion against the government of Mexico. And the original looked more like this, even though this is a much fancier. I'm on this side. Looked more like this, even though this is a much fancier version of it. And essentially that flag flew at the Battle of Gonzales, which is one of the early engagements between rebelling Texans and Tejanos against the Mexican government. Essentially, Santa Anna's Mexican government attempted to put down rebellious efforts and enforce the actual laws in the Constitution of Mexico in Texas, one of which was, slavery was supposed to be illegal in Texas, but, Texans were slave owners and willing to fight to protect their right to own slaves. Anyway, a contingent of the Mexican army went to the small Texas community of Gonzales, and they were confronted by a group of Texans who believed, rightly or wrongly, the Mexican government was there to seize their cannon. They made this flag that said "Come and Take It" with the outline of the cannon on it, and they drove the Mexican army away, or the Mexican army might have just chosen not to fight. This then led to Texans and Tejanos capturing the city of San Antonio, which led to Travis and Jim Bowie moving into the Alamo and the Battle of the Alamo and so on. And so it's kind of an important moment in Texas's war for independence, even if that war for independence was, in part at least, if not in large part, driven by a desire of Texans to continue to be able to own slaves and to grow cotton here in the state of Texas. But that flag then has kind of morphed into a symbol of gun ownership and defiant gun ownership, with this kind of flag hanging outside of my neighbor's house with the AR-15 outline on it instead of the cannon, and the same phrase "Come and Take It." The flag made me think to myself two things which I thought were kind of amusing. One, what better advertisement for thieves about which house to break into than a flag which basically says, "I have an expensive weapon in my home." Now you might be thinking, yes, but surely thieves would want to avoid breaking into a home with an armed homeowner. I'll just point out, Texas has the highest gun ownership rate of any state in the United States of America. If you break into a home in Texas, you're probably breaking into a home where there's a gun. As a matter of fact, we know in Texas and throughout the United States of America that one of the reasons why people break into homes is to get guns, because guns are valuable, they're easily sold and moved, they can be turned into cash relatively quickly. And so that is one of the main things that is stolen when people break into homes is guns. So, clearly guns are not deterring people from breaking in. So, my thought was, if I were an enterprising potential thief, why wouldn't I just case all the houses, in a neighborhood like the one I live in with the come and take it signs, or maybe even the Donald Trump signs that are still up. Case those homes, wait till nobody's home, break in, search for guns, and then leave, and, hope if they were then be able to sell those guns on the street. So one thing I thought, wow, it's kind of stupid to advertise, this expensive, highly desirable thing so that thieves know where you live. And then the second thing I thought, and this is actually, I think, more funny, I thought to myself as I was walking by, if I stole that flag, and then was arrested, couldn't I argue that the flag was encouraging me to come and take it? That the flag itself is an invitation to take the flag. It's almost like, a sign that says, take one, free, take one. It says come and take it. It's an invitation for me to come and take the flag. So I had this kind of momentary, daydream myself, grabbing the flag off the bracket where it was next to someone's garage, and then, just running down the street with a come and take it flag to my house, and then arguing with the police and the judge, I assume later, that the flag had invited me to come and take it. Anyway, like I said, Saturday Hodgepodge are just random thoughts that I have about all kinds of things, and that's one I had about the come and take it flag. Also, usually I catch up on my weekly reading. I finished one book this week, and that was Louise Erdrich's novel Tracks. This is, I think, the third book in what is kind of a loose group of novels that are all related. I think there are 8 of them, and the first one of those, it's the Love Medicine series, I believe is what it's called. Tracks is actually kind of like a precursor to the novel Love Medicine. Tells kind of some of the backstories of some of the foundational characters in that novel. It has a dual timeline, and it really, I think, is one of the ways in which Erdrich kind of most directly talks about the conflict between American culture and Native American culture, or First Nations culture, on the reservation where she sets her stories, and kind of how that plays itself out socially, how it kind of leads divisions even among the people of the tribe, how it creates kind of economic hardship and homelessness and deforestation and a loss of cultural things. Anyway, I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. In lots of ways, it seems to deal with a lot of the issues that Erdrich talks about a little bit more simply and directly, because the story, unlike Love Medicine, which has lots of characters, the story in Tracks kind of revolves around the same characters in different situations and over a period of time. And I really liked it. I thought it was really effective, and as always with Erdrich, some beautiful writing. I am almost going to finish. As a matter of fact, I should today finish Speak Silence in Search of W.G. Sebald by Carole Angier. This is a biography, first I think a really big biography of W.G. Sebald, and I am enjoying this. It is one of those things you read which is enjoyable because of, not because it's hard to read or anything like that, because it makes me think about biography and what biographers are doing. And I don't mean this in any way negative about the author, but how we trust the story that biographers are telling us. As many people will tell you, Mark Nash, etc. Even nonfiction is in some ways created, and biographies are created. Information is assembled, and the author who creates that information has a vision of the person and an idea about the person. It's not that may in fact be true, but they are assembling information to kind of support their view of that person, and that seems to be really the case here in this biography. So I'm enjoying reading that. I'm also buddy reading 2 books this month, one finishing up and one just started. The buddy read that just started is Buddy Read of Square Haunting, 5 Writers in London Between the Wars by Francesca Wade. It's a buddy read I'm doing with Hannah from Hannah's Books, Noelle the Book Rook, and Stephanie Cohen. Stephanie and Noelle are commenters. They've probably seen them on your channels. They're just great. This has been really good. We read the first section, the prologue, and the section about Hilda Doolittle, and Monday we will check in on the section about Dorothy Sayers, which I think is the 3rd section. This has just been really fun. This is exactly the kind of book that I really like, exactly the kind of book that appeals to me. It's about writers, it's about creative people, it's a work of history, it's a group biography. There are all kinds of things about this book that are really great and I'm really enjoying. And then also I will finish up, or Marion, Ryan and I, who've been buddy reading The Warmth of Other Suns since September, will finish this up this week by reading the last 30 to 50 pages. And this has just been great. Isabel Wilkerson is, I think, a great writer, a great popular historian. She assembles her information in a compelling way. She organizes her books in an interesting way, and it has both anecdotal and overall, historical information in it. I just have really been enjoying this, and it's been so great to get to buddy read it with Marion. So we'll finish that up, and that will then free up a lot of my time for some of my other reading this month, some of my other nonfiction reading, which I haven't gotten a chance to get to. That would be including The Dawning of the Apocalypse, The Roots of Slavery, White Supremacy, Settler Colonialism, and Capitalism in the Long 16th Century by Dr. Gerald Horne from the University of Houston. And then also I could get started on reading the essays in Past Imperfect, History According to the Movies, which I'm looking forward to, and then maybe slipping some other nonfiction and indigenous reading in. I am waiting for my copy of Louise Erdrich's new novel, which is out this month and should be here today. It's called The Sentence, and I will be reading that this month also as a part of Indigithon, and I still want to get to Joy Harjo's memoir, Crazy Brave, this month. Last week I did some shout outs to some channels of people I consider myself to be kind of friends with, and some kind of larger channels that oftentimes go overlooked when we do shout outs. I made the point last week that we oftentimes, shout out new channels to help them get going, to bring them to attention to lots of people. But then we kind of sometimes, I think, forget to remind ourselves and other people of other channels. So I just want to shout out two. The first channel I want to shout out is Charlie Heathcote's channel. Charlie Heathcote is an English writer and booktuber and all-around interesting person who tells a great story both on the page and on his channel. I believe his channel is around 1,000 subscribers right now, so if you haven't checked out Charlie's channel, please go check it out. And then also, I forgot last week to shout out Scott and Nell at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. Scott and Nell are almost always. Scott and Nell are always funny. They're always entertaining, and at the same time, they have really kind of biting criticism and insight into the books they read. And always a fun thing to get when they put out a new video, so check out their channel as well. Anyway, there you go. There's my Saturday Hodgepodge for this week. I look forward to comments in the comment section below, and as always, thank you for watching.